Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to be talking about watch batteries. I was replacing a battery in a quartz watch earlier today and I was like, well, the way we go about like changing a battery, which kind of battery goes into which watch, it's something that's not always logic. So that was why I thought it would be a good idea to do a video about it. And I have a few batteries here, and those are like true watch batteries. This one isn't. And why is that? This is a 3-volt lithium battery, and those are silver oxide ones. That's an alkaline cell. So while they're all button cells, those are like the true watch batteries. However, sometimes alkaline cells are put in watches. Why do they do that? To cheap out. Those batteries are way cheaper. So, it's an alkaline silver oxide, and that's lithium. Alkaline has a voltage of 1.5, has a low energy density, and has a high potential to start to leak. These are silver oxide batteries. They have a voltage of 1.55 volts, high energy density. They can leak, less likely to leak. And then you have your lithium, your 3-volt lithium. High energy density, can also leak, but less likely than an alkaline cell. I said that these batteries have a voltage of 1.55, but everybody who has ever stuck their multimeter on a fresh alkaline cell will probably be telling me that, yeah, a fresh alkaline cell does have a voltage of 1.55 too. However, that's only when it's fresh. These ones keep their voltage at 1.55 until they are empty. They are literally have a flat voltage curve, and then right at the end, boop, it dips down. So that's why they are true 1.55 volt batteries. However, these cells do have an equivalent. So this is an LR621, and which has an equivalent of 363, 364 in a silver oxide. And how do I know this? Well, that's where charge like this comes in. However, I said LR621, but as you can read here at the 363, 364 line, an LR61 is not mentioned there. But there's more to it than just the lines. There are also slits in it. So, as you can see, if I grab this battery, it will not go in, it will not go in, but when I come at 364, 363, it will fit. So that's how, if the brand of that typical cell has their own like labeling system, naming system, I still know. I can still figure out which battery needs to go in that watch, because if it fits, then I know that it's that battery, because it will not fit in any of those other holes. So if I take the real 364, it will also just fit in there. Same goes for the other side is for 3-volt lithium. So this is a CR320. No, this is not a CR3. CR2032. Here it is. So it will fit in. So there we are. That's how, like, even if you can't read the markings, or the markings are to a system that you don't know, you can still figure it out, because it won't fit in any, or like it will be fit in here, but that's like way too big. So that's when you know which battery is which. So yeah, most wholesale stores will give those out for free, or sometimes you can buy them. I need to get a new one because this one's a bit broken and I had to glue it. But yeah, that's how you go about figuring out which battery you need to use in a quartz watch. Same goes for this one. What's the number one here? It's a 936. So that's too small. It's probably going to be this one. Yes. So as you can see, it was a 936, and it is an equivalent to a 394. So those numbers at the front, they are the equivalence numbers. They also more or less come close to the dimensions of the physical cell. So it's 349, so the 3 stands for the height of the battery, and 94 stands for the diameter. So please don't do this with a fully charged cell, they might explode. So that's 3.5 by 9.4. So, but that's just an indication. Why is that? Well, because it's an equivalent value. It is not exactly that. It's more closely for these ones. For lithium cell, 3 or more or less by 20. Yeah. It's more exactly for those kind of cells, but it's approximate. And then there's one more thing I'm going to talk about, but that's a bit like a blast from the past. You will see here on the chart, for example, with the 364, 363, it will say that it is an equivalent, it's equivalent for an SR621 and an SR621. So you can see here there's an SW behind it, and here there's not. The SW was for a high drain or a low drain. Back in the day, there were batteries that had the same size, and one of those was for like watches that would use more power, and the other one was lower power. The higher power cell would cost more, but it was not that much more, so a lot of the stores would just end up buying the high drain ones because it was easier and they had to have less stock, so basically the load rain cells kind of got out of rotation, and by the time I got into the watchmaking industry, they were basically gone. So basically the front numbers is what most battery brands will use. And if you go to like a watch part store and you will ask, for example, you can see here the 321, if you will ask, I want a 616, they will probably be like, oh yeah, that's a 321, and you will get a 321. But if you, for example, ask for GP21, they'll probably be like, I need to look that up, because they probably don't know. So yeah, that's why mainly those first numbers are used if you order batteries, or if you go buy them. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot. Some of them have like a lot of equivalent batteries, and sometimes you do need to take into account voltage. For some things for some watches that does matter. And if you go to like older cameras, you definitely need to take into account the voltage. But for most watches, if there was an LR, like an alkaline one inside of it, and you replace it with a silver oxide, it's going to be okay. It's only a problem for like the older watches, like I said, that used to run mercury cells, because there's about 0.2 volts of difference. That's when it starts to get a problem. But for for like an alkaline versus a silver oxide, that's going to be fine. And yeah, like I said, you probably should not put alkaline batteries in a watch. They don't last that long. They have a high potential of leakage, and well, they are a bit cheaper. That's all there is to, but it's probably not worth it. As to what brands I use, well, you can see in the back I put one of my most used batteries. I use a lot of Renata cells. I have some Energizers, some Sony ones. Basically, I use whatever I can get my hands on, which is mainly Renata. Renata had a bad reputation because it was a kind of rushed thing they did. Well, like, they started making batteries in a rush. The Renata batteries have a bad name in the industry for leaking, but they fixed it, and they are decent batteries now. And that's why I use them. But I don't really have a particular brand I use, but it's mostly Renata. So yeah, that was my my talk about watch batteries. Hope you find it interesting. If you have questions, the comment section is there for it. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.